right?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another installment of TED Excellence, the show you go to for medical advice never. And I come to you live from Crater Valley on the moon with Dogcat Fox, a Pepperjack, and all of you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome again to Thursday, tempestuous Thursday. Yes, and just a note. As of today, at least declared today, Dr. Pepper has exceeded Pepsi as the second big pop brand in the world or country. Anyway, Dr. Pepper's number 2. We're number 2. Anyway, it's all thanks to me, by the way. If you didn't already know, every episode of TED Excellence, I have plugged, and take that how you will, Dr. Pepper through my famous Pepper Jacks. So it's all my doing, everyone. Yes, yay, Dr. Pepper, number 2 with a bullet. But otherwise, everyone, hope you're having a good Thursday evening. Do not take this talk as medical advice. Was that the verbiage that was used? You see, I was trying to come up with a thumbnail for this. You know, I was trying to come up with some kind of clever wordplay or pun or something. And I just thought to myself, well, what drew me to this talk in the first place? Well, it was right there in the description of the video, the very first line, do not look to this talk for medical advice. And I thought that's perfect. I love those. You know, when TEDx is telling me, don't take this seriously, I know I have to take a look. So we're going to take a look at that today about the handbook to healthy longevity. And boy, howdy, given recent events in my family, learning about how to have a healthy longevity is something I'm very curious about. So we'll learn about that tonight. But before then, who's joining me on this beautiful Thursday evening? Kiever Dam. Good evening, Kiever Dam. And thank you, Kiever Dam, as always, for providing the links to the fundraisers for our friends Moonshock, Natalie, Angela Arriaga, Rhonda, and Blind Press. If you can, please take a look at those when you have the opportunity and donate if you are able. If you're not, that's fine. But if you can, share those out on social media. That would be appreciated. So thank you, Kiever Dam, and thank you guys ahead of time. John Miller, good evening. Advocatus Diaboli, good evening. Random American, good evening. Mike R., good evening. Shadow Grin. Boy, I get like Shadow Claw and Shady Grin like had a baby or something, I guess. Shady Grin, good evening. Rotten Corpse, good evening. Noah Asensio, good evening. Shell D, good evening. Carol Soldier, good evening. Attorney Eris, good evening. Derek LaRue, thank you, Derek, as always, for your continued support and generosity. I really appreciate it. Hope you're having a good evening and hope you enjoy the show. Who else is here? Corey Suzuki, good evening. Tony Giff, good evening. Angelverse, good evening. Tall Person, good evening to you. Corbin Dallas, Multipass. Lilu Dallas, Multipass. Good evening to you. Attack Alpaca, good evening. Who else is here? John Trioxin, good evening. Spoonie the Rebel, good evening. Pissed Off Shih Tzu, good evening to you. And anyone else? Johnny Hellcat, good evening to you. And I think that's everybody. Oh, Fostonia, there you are. Good evening to you. So good evening, everyone, and to anybody that I missed, anybody lurking or anybody in the future, good evening. So yes, tonight we're going to have another medical revelation, I guess. A handbook to healthy longevity, but it is a talk that you should not take as medical advice, according to TEDx. So what awaits us? I don't know. But to guide us along that path will be bingo card C. C as in snake oil. It sounds similar, C's and snake oils and such. Anyway, links to the bingo cards are in the description below. And I think that's all the big stuff. So without further ado, I'll start off with a few seconds for a sound test. This one clocks in at just under 15 minutes. So let's get going. Let me know if you can hear this, and then we will proceed.
I am Gen Z.
You are Gen Z? All by yourself? Are you also all the Jedi? That sound okay, guys? I did boost the sound a little bit, so I think it sounds all right. Dominica Wilcox? Wilzock? I don't know. Something like that. Let's see. Scrolling. All good and sound wise. I hear it as advocatus. It's good. Just says Shell D. Sally sells seashells by the seashore. Oh boy, I'm going all Sean Connery before we get anywhere in the show. Also, Best Remy, good evening. Brad Young, good evening. Mansquatch, good evening. All right, so you are Gen Z all by yourself.
And my generation might be the last one who dies of aging.
Your generation might be the last one that dies of aging. I'm going to press X to doubt.
Death. I'm sure many of you grimaced when you heard the words because we don't speak about dying.
We do actually. I don't know who you mean by we. Unless you're talking about Gen Z. Does Gen Z not speak about dying?
Remember Barbie movie from last summer?
Barbie movie? Do you remember movie? It was Barbie movie, and then tomorrow we have robot movie, and then down the line we will have war movie. Very very simplistic.
Where at the beginning there's epic dance scene where just everybody dances the night away until Barbie says, "Do you guys ever think about death?"
Actually, I haven't seen Barbie, so no, I don't know about this, but okay, and
at this point, everything stops.
Wow, I guess that's called surprise comedy or something.
Even Ken stops speaking of Barbie at this point because death is so much of a taboo topic.
Well, it's also a downer at a party. So, yeah. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat. What is this dying she speaks of? Yes. Ed, Boris and Natasha. What is this? I know. I like her accent. But I can't help but just think of stereotypes. It's my microaggression. What can I tell you?
But when we do allow the death thoughts to creep into our minds, we tend to romanticize this moment. I want to die of old age, in my bed, with my family members besides me, hopefully in my sleep.
I don't know. I mean, admittedly, the thoughts of death and everything else has definitely been prevalent in my family the last couple of months because of my father's situation. As far as considering my own mortality, I try not to dwell on it, but at the same time, it's like, well, whenever it's going to happen, lights out, and I'm not going to know the difference afterwards. So I try to be a little, pragmatic about it. But anyway, hit the button.
So that I can just start a dream and then never wake up.
Right.
But I need to reality check you at this point.
Oh, you need to reality check me? Okay. Tell me my reality. Before we go any further, let's take a look at the bingo card real quick and remind ourselves what we are listening for in this decidedly unconventional TEDx. Diversity, equity, and or inclusion. No. Word salad, I got a feeling we'll get there. Mind reading or assumes motives. Well, she asked do you remember that scene in Barbie? But then she laid it out for us. I'll leave that alone. A list, not yet. Marginalized or marginalization, patriarchy, contradicts own point or argument. I guess we'll see. I'm not quite sure what her argument is to have Gen Z cheat death. Feminism, attempt to coin new buzzword or buzz phrase. We might get there. Systemic or institutional. Anecdote that probably never happened. Again, I'm waiting to see what her plan is for cheating death. White supremacy, childhood or family anecdote. Well, no, she talked about a hypothetical about dying with your family around you, so she hasn't talked directly about her family yet, so I'll wait. Excuse me. Leaves out vital context. Argumentative non sequitur. Sales pitch for product or service. We'll see. Privilege. Collectivizes own demographic. I am Gen Z. Circling that one. I know. That's a bit of a stretch at the same time, though. But she said, we will be the last generation to die of death or something, or die of old age. Self-vilification or wretchedness, economic disparity, benevolent condescension, I might get there, plays victim, weightless example, and lastly, microaggressions or unconscious bias. And no, my microaggressions about the accent don't count. So far on the board, we have free space, collectivizes own demographic, and moving on.
Dying of old age. Dying of aging doesn't look like this.
It doesn't look like this. I've heard plenty of stories of people dying in their beds with their families surrounding them or dying in their sleep. Okay, so what does it look like?
It hurts.
Dying doesn't necessarily, okay, it all depends. Do you have some kind of painful terminal illness? It hurts. Actually, death is fairly painless.
And it hurts a lot. Because biologically speaking, aging is the constant destruction of your organism.
Well, yes, aging can hurt. You know, physical maladies can hurt, but death, it's the process of aging. And depending on how it is, you know, the process of dying might be painful. Sure, it's not inherently so, but it could be.
Your body gets so worn out that it just can't sustain you anymore.
Right.
This is what aging and dying of aging feels like.
Well, you would have no idea, would you? At least not yet, but it's coming. Don't worry. I have a feeling our speaker is not going to somehow circumvent the forces of entropy.
I need you to remember the last time you were hangover.
The last time I was hungover? Oh, sorry, the last time I was hangover? When was the last time I was hangover? Maybe 3 months ago. But my hangovers are usually very mild. Like, I don't actually drink all that much, and I know my limit, so I don't usually get all that wasted or anything. So, but yeah, okay, so let's say 3 months ago.
And this TED Talk is happening at the college, so I know this is not so much of a distant memory for most of us.
Okay.
I need you to stay with the hangover. The music still throbbing in your ears, the lights in your eyes, your head wanting to explode, and the only question you keep asking yourself is why? Why did I ever do it to myself? I swear, I will never drink again. Please let this hangover stop.
Well, unfortunately, most of those symptoms are attributed to my migraines. And I unfortunately can't do much about that except try to stay as hydrated as possible. But when those suckers hit, they hit hard, and I can't avoid them. So, yeah, I know what it is to have a painful headache, let's say.
Please let it stop now.
Right.
But imagine it doesn't.
Yeah, no, I've had some pretty bad migraines before. I've had ones that had me like begging for relief. There was one time, man, I can't even describe the kind of pain I was in. It was excruciating. I was practically crying. It was just, it was so bad. Anyway, sorry, I don't want to dwell on bad things.
You keep drinking water, you keep sleeping, but the hangover is still there for a day, for 2. How about 9 years?
9 years? Okay, we're building to an argument, right?
9 years of constant hangover, the muscle soreness, the nausea, the feeling like you can't really do anything.
Yeah, the nausea. I deal with the nausea on a regular basis.
And it just keeps getting worse and worse.
Okay.
9 years.
Specifically 9 years, okay.
Right now is the current global gap between health span and lifespan, meaning that for most of us, if we don't claim our healthy longevity, our health will end 9 years before we die.
Okay. Claim our healthy longevity. Okay, so where do I go to turn in my ticket?
For 9 years.
Okay, so on average, there's a 9 year span between operating pretty good and then everything goes downhill. Maybe that's true. I don't know, but okay, I'll take your word for it.
We will keep on dying.
Yes.
Rather than living.
Right.
But it's not all that doom and gloom. We don't need that dark mood of here, because right now in 2024,
yes,
we are closer than ever to actually defeating aging.
Really? Is it oil of Olay?
Since the beginning of humanity, we were looking for the philosopher's stone,
the fountain of youth,
the quests for immortality,
the fountain of youth,
raising the longevity temples.
The fountain of youth, please.
Today, we are closer than ever to making this happen.
How? Okay, you've repeated yourself twice now. How?
All the most promising solutions to end aging are based on AI.
Okay, wait. Okay, hold on. Okay, no, I will partially retract my laughter. If she means to say that by applying artificial intelligence to disease, and solving for disease or testing or modeling medicines or vaccines or so on and so forth against diseases and cancers and so on, then maybe she has a point, because I've heard plenty of stories of pharmaceutical companies and scientists applying the computing power of AI to model out things in medicine that it would take human beings decades, if not centuries, to complete by hand. So if that's what she means, okay, all right, I'll wait.
Artificial intelligence helps us discover drugs that target not only aging but also diseases.
Okay. I again, there's some validity to that. Name some.
At the same time, because these things share a lot of pathways.
Diz things share a lot of pathways. Okay.
AI also helps us find a new purpose for many drugs that exist currently. We can even go a step further and think about epigenetic reprogramming.
Epigenetic reprogramming. Okay. Would you like to name some of these drugs? Just an example of an AI-created drug that has now addressed some disease that wouldn't have been or couldn't have been earlier.
And by this point in the talk, you might have realized that the longevity word is super heavily focused on difficult words. But what epigenetic reprogramming basically means is that we can tell your organs, like a liver or a kidney, to turn on and off specific genes.
We can. Okay. And again, I'm taking this on faith for the sake of the talk. And what is that going to do, or what is that doing currently?
Meaning, like, we can tell your kidney, like, hey, can you disregard this information on page 4 of DNA and highlight the one on page 18?
Which does what? What's the functional benefit of that? And I'm asking sincerely. I don't know. I'm an English major, not a bioscience major.
Just so that your organ can be turned back by years.
Okay, so you're going to tell the organs to heal themselves, I guess?
In their fitness and biological age. Meaning that when this treatment actually exits the lab and gets into humans, we can have a 70 or an 80-year-old with an organ of a 20-year-old without transplantation.
Great. How far are we away from that? And then the big question is, how available will this be to the general public? Because I got a distinct feeling that if they come up with the turn back the clock on your internal organs injection, they're not going to give it out to everybody. Because there's that whole population control thing.
Just with epigenetic reprogramming. There is also a method that tries to take all these clinically validated and already proven techniques into practice right now, and this is longevity medicine.
Okay, do you have some examples, active examples? I mean, I'm willing to believe they exist, but I just would like to hear some specifics, please. Thank you, Alan Thyler, for the laughing, joyful Dogcat Fox. Oh, Dogcat Fox!
Wow-wee! Wow! Wow!
Oh, there's a drunken Uncle Dogcat Fox. Thank you so much, Alan. Appreciate it, and I hope you're enjoying the show. Let's see. Mansquatch says, in 2020, there was a paper about using epigenetic reprogramming to make eyes become younger. I couldn't afford to read it. Okay, I walked right into that one. Thank you, Mansquatch. Okay, yeah, so I can believe that these things are being worked on. I've heard similar things for years now, but okay, AI is enabling us to run through these simulations and tests and modelings and everything else much, much quicker and much more efficiently than before. Tell me about a specific drug, a specific trial, a specific something, please.
It's an AI-driven precision approach that helps people take their health span as long as possible, meaning that the aging hangover is minimized.
Minimized? I thought it was supposed to be fully eliminated. But okay, are you going to describe how AI is doing this? I've heard a couple of reports before, seen a couple of articles, but This is your talk, so
to months or almost none.
almost none.
Longevity medicine concerns the
Yes.
human from prenatal stage, so when you were still in your mom's belly,
Mhm.
to the very end. And we do that by gathering data. We gather data about what exactly is happening in your body at these specific stages in your body, and then analyze it to find the right treatment that is uniquely specialized to you.
Great. Give me a success story. Tell me about, trials in rats or something.
Think about the last time you were at the doctor's office.
The last time I was at the doctor's office. Okay, I'm thinking about the last time I was. Well, you mean like as a patient or like as a visitor? Because that's, well, okay. I'll as a patient. Okay, I'm thinking about it.
Most likely there was something wrong with you at that time.
No, I was just getting some regular tests done, but yeah.
You had a cold, you broke your
No,
leg.
No.
You were seeking sick care.
Oh, but I'm talking about healthcare.
Longevity medicine is centered around healthcare.
Oh, you know what? It's a cheap one, but I'm also cheap, so I'll take it. All right. The sales pitch is here. I'm waiting for something. Come on, give me something to sink my teeth into. If I still have teeth, can epigenetic reprogramming do anything about that?
Bringing people from okay, fine, healthy to optimal or even best performance during their entire lives.
Yeah, it sounds great. Hypothetically, you got anything for us?
What exciting times to be alive.
Are they? People are still dying.
It actually is happening in front of our eyes.
Where? Just come on, give me an example. Where?
But I need you to play gardeners with me for a second.
Gardeners? Okay.
The people who take care of our greenery
I know what gardener is.
next to us.
Yeah.
You wouldn't really apply a fertilizer to a grass that is already burned.
I don't know. What would happen if you applied fertilizer to burnt grass? I'm not a gardener. So, what?
Meaning that we are aging.
Yeah.
Tic-tac, tic-tac.
Tic-tac-toe?
We've already aged by about 10 minutes since the conference started.
Yeah, God. And just think if I stopped for a second and thought about how much aging I put into watching TEDx Talks.
And the changes in our body, the hangover, is getting closer and closer.
Yes, you come on. I mean, I knew this was going to be a little funky because of the warning label, but still, there's got to be something here. Please. You got half a talk left, and you're just repeating yourself.
But there are things we can do to slow it down.
Like?
That they're not expensive, that just require thought and effort.
Like?
Because 75% of your healthy longevity depends on how you spend your days.
You don't say.
3/4 of how long and how healthily you will live depends on your lifestyle and your environment.
You don't say.
I'm going to present you with 4 methods that are not going to add many years to your life yet.
What's the point? Anyway, 4 methods is a list, circling a list. We haven't quite achieved word salad yet, but we're getting there. Okay, maybe there'll be a buzzword in the 4 methods to not add years to my life. What was that again?
I'm going to present you with 4 methods that are not going to add many years to your life yet. But they are going to add a lot of life back to your years.
So, like, what? Okay. Weightless example. I'm doing a preemptive weightless example because why would you bring this up? You're talking about extending people's longevity, not spicing up the life that they have. But you're going to give us 4 methods by which to... Oh, come on. Thank you, John Miller. Talk is about mortality. I feel her talk is dead on arrival. Okay. Thank you, John Miller. Appreciate it, I think. And thank you, Keeverdam. Did you circle sales pitch? If you did, I didn't catch it. I haven't yet because I'm waiting to see if she's going to give us a specific, like, college or lab or specific product or drug or something. I'm waiting for something that's a bit more grounded. In aggregate, I might circle it by the end of it, but I'm waiting to see if she gives us something like with a brand name. But appreciate it, Keeverdam. Thank you so much. So we're not there yet. So far on the board, we have a list, free space, collectivize his own demographic, and waitlist example. But there might be more to come.
You can remember them with 4S. Social.
Social.
Sweat.
Sweat.
Savor.
Savor.
And sleep.
Sleep. Social, sweat, savor, and sleep. Okay, I have no idea where this is going.
Let's start with social.
Yes, since it's the first one on your list, it seems almost appropriate.
The US Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy, says that loneliness is as deadly as smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
Wow. Is this all just like Maslow's triangle kind of stuff? Okay.
And by today, we all know that smoking kills us.
Well, it's more like the lung cancer and emphysema that can kill you, but anyway.
But so does loneliness.
It can, not directly.
Look around you. Look to your left, right? There are human beings around you.
No, I just have a genetically modified creature beside me or behind me. What are you looking at? You are. Look. It's not like I'm telling you you're adopted or something. You know this already. Wowie, wow, wow. Stop. Go hunt some, Moonites or Moonians or whatever the hell they were. That's your purpose. Not everybody gets to live to find out their purpose. You know your purpose. Wowie, wow, wow. I know. See? Your life is fulfilled already. Go. God, that guy keeps looking at me.
When was the last time you interacted with a stranger?
Have you heard of Twitter?
When was the last time you had a meaningful conversation with a friend?
Today.
Loneliness is a very subjective feeling. So you have to ask yourself, do I feel like there is enough human contact in my life?
Well, I mean, admittedly, my social life isn't exactly stellar at this point. Between personal dramas and then shortly thereafter, the lockdown and pandemic, everything kind of died on the proverbial vine over the years. So my actual real life meat space socialization is fairly minimal as compared to the past. But, somehow I've managed.
And your body will thank you when you feel like you have friends, because it will actually fight off diseases better.
Well, yeah, I had a lot of friends, and then drama seeped its way in, and actually it caused me a hell of a lot more stress than it did benefit. But maybe that was just a matter of circumstance. But anyway, it's to each their own.
You slow down aging when you feel like you belong.
Oh, when I belong? Is this a DEIB argument?
Social can also stand for how you see old people, because there are a lot
How I sealed people? I know.
of ageist stereotypes right now. Ageism is the discrimination on the basis of age.
It is. Yes, it is.
It works both ways.
Oh.
But when you see old people as those who are not that involved in technology, are a little bit slower, are just not fun to be around,
It's almost an accurate description, all things considered.
You fail to realize that with each passing second, you are closer to thinking that about yourself.
Yeah, it's true. There is a certain amount of mirth I derive from younger people younger than me, acting like they know everything. And I just kind of go like, oh, just you wait. Just you wait. It's sort of an inevitable schadenfreude that I can just project out into the future.
Because we are all aging.
Mm-hmm.
The rate of aging and the end product, we can take partial control over that though.
How? Name one study, name one drug. I mean, I'm sure they exist, but you're giving us a list of things that have nothing to do with extending our lifespan. Or do they? Because you just said that socialization makes your body live longer or something. I'm confused.
So there is one thing that you can do with friends, regardless of their age.
What's that?
And this thing is exercise.
Well, I don't need friends to exercise, and I exercise every day. So are we getting into sweat now?
It's absolutely crucial to move your body daily. Not necessarily at the gym with a strict workout regimen every single day.
Well, I have a workout routine every single day. I mean, I occasionally take a day off, but yeah, no, I have a regular routine.
Even a dancing session or a long walk counts. As long as there is a balance in between these types of activities.
And this will extend my, so exercise will extend my life and livelihood. Wow, gee, thanks. When do we get back to AI and epigenetic reprogramming?
Right now, the concept of step count is super popular. And as much as I love walking, and maybe that's a European thing in me, but it's okay. It's perfect to get this 6,000, 10,000 steps a day, but it's also not enough.
I thought steps popular now. I thought the step thing has been around for quite a while, but okay.
You have to get your heart rate up, your blood flow faster.
You mean do some cardio? What is this talk? I mean, I was hoping for some kind of at least semi-focused snake oil, but now we're just all over the place. Did AI write this talk by any chance?
To activate specific parts of the muscles, because then when you grow your muscles, you get more efficient mitochondria. And this is something you might remember from high school. Mitochondria are these tiny things inside your cells that give you more energy.
Yeah, I vaguely remember mitochondria. Yeah, okay. When do we get to AI cures for aging?
And when your mitochondria are happy, when they work well, you slow down aging.
Okay.
More muscles also stabilize your blood sugar levels, meaning that the more muscles you have, the less impact the donut will have on you.
More muscles? You mean more muscle tissue, right? You only have a limited number of muscles, I think, unless you're like a genetic anomaly or something.
And speaking about the donut, let's move to savor. Savoring what you eat.
Oh, you didn't even mention sweat. I mean, I guess you covered it with exercise, but you didn't say, let's talk about sweat. Okay.
And I'm not going to tell you to drop that donut right now, because you are all smart people.
Put that cookie down!
You know that we should avoid eating junk food.
Junk food. I love junk food. Do you like junk food? I love junk food.
Because to put this in the perspective, junk food equals, first, very unhappy mitochondria. Second, most likely getting fatter and fatter.
Most likely. Yeah. Okay.
There are different types of fat in our body.
I know. Why? Come on.
But the white fat, the one that comes mostly from junk food, is the major driver of diseases. So is aging.
Aging is a major driver of diseases. Can you believe it, guys? Also, if you eat nothing but junk food, you might, bring on more disease. Oh, wow, it's such revelation.
It's all related.
Yeah, it's all connected. Yeah.
But after you've after you've aged. But after you exercised and thought about other people and paid attention to your diet, you are most likely hungry.
Hangry? Not really.
So let's move to the fourth of the S's, and that is sleep.
So wait, after doing all this stuff, I'm hungry, so let's move to sleep? What?
Your body has an internal clock.
You don't say. Are you going to tell us about circadian rhythm? Circadian rhythm? That's what it is, isn't it? I think it is. I don't know what's going on anymore. I'm reaching back to my personal health 101 lessons and things. Thank you, John Miller. I see she hasn't discovered moderation yet. I don't know. She's apparently just discovered the fact that eating healthy, exercising, and getting good sleep are good for you, and thinks that the audience doesn't know. Okay, you know what? Benevolent condescension. This is just, this is all just nothing. Nothing. And, I hate to double dip, but I'm also going to circle argumentative non sequitur, because she opens this about AI-driven drugs and treatments for aging and aging organs and things. And now we're talking, health science 101. And that just, no. So far on the card, again, for reminding, bingo card C, we have a list, free space, argumentative non sequitur, collectivizes own demographic, benevolent condescension, and weightless example. Let's keep going with it. As quickly as I'm going through this, I might end up doing a twofer tonight.
That is called the circadian rhythm.
Hey! 2 in a row. Oh, I love it. Yay! Go me.
And it asks you, it literally begs you on its knees every single day to go to bed and sleep, roughly from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Uh-huh.
What happens if we don't?
Sleep debt and hallucinations, and eventually you're going to start dreaming while you're awake, and Freddy Krueger is going to come out of the corner with his glove and chase you down a hallway, and it's all dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Because we've all been there. We've all spent nights at the library just writing yet another essay, or at the party, because we tend to think that sleep is not as important.
What do you mean we?
And we know that bad things happen the next day if we don't sleep.
But so do we know that sleep isn't important, or don't we? Oh.
But one thing specific to longevity, what happens when you don't follow this clock?
It's bad for you.
Is that you give your body an invitation
to a party?
To create more zombie cells.
Zombie cells.
And this is not a metaphor. This is an actually established concept in neuroscience.
In geoscience? Okay, tell me about zombie cells.
Zombie cells just hang around in your body.
Oh, so they're just like freeloading wallflowers?
They don't do anything apart from releasing this toxic substance that keeps on biting other cells inside of you.
Really? So if I don't sleep, I generate zombie cells that poison other cells. I don't know. Is that true? Is there a name for these zombie cells? What is the technical name for these zombie cells? You told us about the circadian rhythm. You told us about mitochondria. What is the technical name for these zombie cells?
Also making them zombie.
Also making them zombie? Oh my God.
And then slowly turning you into a zombie.
Oh man. You know what, TEDx? I apologize. The disclaimer was absolutely on point.
Because remember the moment you were hangover? Were you much different from a zombie back then?
I was not seeking human flesh to devour.
This is also what aging slowly and slowly turns you into.
A zombie? Oh, okay.
Biologically.
Biologically a zombie. Oh, okay. What is the Latin term for a biological zombie?
If you don't claim your healthy longevity.
How do I claim my healthy longevity?
Would the world crumble down if you don't follow these 4 steps?
Will the world crumble down? I no.
No.
Oh, okay.
We're all humans. And
no, wait. Some of us are zombies now. If I don't get some good winks for a couple of days, apparently I turn into a George Romero reject. But okay, tell me, what am I again?
We're all humans. And from time to time, we all just go, live only once, YOLO, and break all the rules.
YOLO! Say no now. Isolate yourself and just go solo. Be careful. Sorry.
But you have to realize one thing.
What's what? Oh,
You're in a relationship with your body.
Well, I mean, I don't like to talk about that too much. This is a family channel after all. But, from time to time, the guy's got his needs.
And I know it's 2 weeks after the Valentine's Day, and maybe I should have told you sooner.
The Valentine's Day.
But in this relationship, the same principles apply.
Oh, the same principles apply to a relationship? I have to buy myself flowers and say sweet nothings into my ear.
Meaning, if you make your partner clean up a huge mess every single day, or
It's called women's work. Oh, sorry.
even often,
Yeah.
sooner or later, they will get fed up with you.
Not if you're in a full spectrum dominant submissive relationship and everybody's healthy. Sorry, I'm drifting.
And just leave.
No.
You have to ask yourself a question. How long do I want to live?
As long as I can maintain my independence. I will say that's the one sort of like nightmare scenario I've had for most of my life, whether it's something like Alzheimer's kicking in because my family has a history of such, or something like paralysis or some other debilitation that requires other people to take care of me. I know that's some version of that is oncoming probably at some point, but as long as I can maintain my personal independence, after that, I don't know. It starts to get into very, very sad and dark territory. And I'm not talking about Steven Seagal. And if you get that joke, you're a 90s kid. Anyway, Keeverdam, thank you so much. Looks like zombie cells are a real thing. According to the University of Minnesota, they're linked to Alzheimer's. Oh, well, I better get my sleep then. Right after this, I'm going to bed. Because, it's not like I'm already on the Alzheimer's train genetically or hereditarily or anything. But thank you, Keeverdam.
How long do I want to live?
Who wants to live forever?
How do I want to die?
Well, now, I can think of a couple of joyful scenarios for that one.
Do I allow myself to die in pain?
Allow myself, okay? Like most of us have that kind of choice.
That's why you need to claim your healthy longevity and live accordingly.
Okay, so eat well, exercise, get good sleep, and socialize. The end. That's all you've had. That's all you've given us so far. You haven't named a single AI therapy or drug or anything else. You've just intimated to them.
But if you are still not convinced that with time, your body will turn against you
if I'm not convinced. So if I don't understand the fundamentals of physical and biological entropy at this point, who does not understand, at least on a minimal level, the concept of aging and dying of old age? Like, was that what this presentation was? To convince your audience that aging is a thing? What?
You as you age, then I need you to close your eyes.
Hold on, I gotta back up. I think I missed something.
Time. Your body will turn against you as you age. Then I need you to close your eyes.
Close your eyes.
And bring back a childhood memory.
A childhood memory? Okay, a childhood memory. Watching the Incredible Hulk cartoon on Saturday mornings and hearing Stan Lee do the narration of the opening talking about how Dr. Bruce Banner was caught in a gamma explosion and then becomes the Incredible Hulk.
The one with your parents, the one with your grandparents, when you were running around, fooling with them, telling them about a fascinating day at preschool.
No. Saturday morning cartoons. To hell with all that family stuff. There's important cartoons to watch.
Picture them. Their faces, their bodies. Picture them now.
Okay, I am picturing my parents and my grandparents when I was young.
When was the last time you talked with them?
Today. Well, I mean, I can't talk to my grandparents because they're all passed away now, but my parents I talked to today.
Can you?
Would you, could you in a box? Would you, could you with a fox? I can, and I have.
Still talk with them?
Yes. Thankfully. I mean, who knows for how long?
See their faces.
Yes, I can see their faces.
The wrinkles
Yeah.
that start to appear.
Yeah, no, I have noticed my parents aging, yes. I've noticed myself aging too.
The salt and pepper hair.
Yeah, I got some of that going on. It looks actually kind of cool sometimes.
As much as we say to embrace these changes as we age,
you really have no choice otherwise, unless you're going to tell us about an alternative.
These are the symptoms that the hangover is getting closer.
You don't say.
These are the symptoms of aging.
These are the... okay. Yeah.
And we can delay that.
How? Tell me.
But now, think about yourself.
All I do is think about myself. I'm a complete narcissist, let's just say. Okay, and now?
Think about yourself 70 years old.
7 years old. So it was 1986, and I think I watched the Challenger blow up.
How about 80?
Think about myself 80 years old. Well, the only example I have to go off of are my parents and my grandparents. And my grandparents all lived, well, most of them lived to be at least up to 80 or onward. So,
how about 100-year-old yourself? It is possible.
It's possible. I don't know that it would be a very fun experience.
If you claim your healthy longevity.
How?
With your own effort put into your health span.
Oh my God.
And then the neuroscience interventions that are already in the making or starting to be applicable.
Which you won't detail or name or go into any depth on.
You can actually live to 100. But make
yeah.
sure that you make the point of living to 100.
Okay.
Because the longer you think you will live,
yes,
the more you're actually expected to live.
That's nonsense. What the secret for personal health?
It's never too late to start your healthy
thinking.
longevity journey.
Okay.
But it's also never too early.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for your attention.
Okay, that was absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Fostonia, holy cats, thank you so much. Scribe just got back while listening in on my bike ride, and I swear this chick sounds exactly like the hot chick hawking that blue glowy liquid to Meryl Streep in Death Becomes Her. Please say it, lady. Sempre viva. Oh God, I can almost remember her name. The actress. Oh Lord, what? It's on the tip of my tongue. Oh no, I'm going to kick myself when somebody in the chat puts it in there. I hate it. I hate that when like I can picture someone's name, you know, I sort of like almost feel like the syllables in my mind and then suddenly it just kind of goes sideways. Okay, that's going to bug me. Somebody in the chat, what was the name of, what's her name? Anyway, yeah, that wasn't much of a show. That was not much of a show. So we're going to do another one. And we're going to keep the same bingo card. Although I'm going to change the color on the bingo card for the circles, just to see what we get. So it's an unexpected double feature. Unexpected double feature. So let's see, something that's not too lengthy. How about... Sure. Okay, well, the only problem with this is that I have not prepped the video for audio quality. So if it's too quiet, we might be out of luck. But I've got a couple of options here. So let's try this out. 1 second. So ambush double feature, everybody. Keep your same bingo card. Keep your circles as is. We're going to transition on to a secondary. Isabella Rossellini, that's what it was. Thank you so much, Keeverdam. I think, if I'm not mistaken, she and Vincent D'Onofrio were in a relationship for some time. They might even have children together. I can't recall. And that's what I was thinking of as well. I was thinking, oh, whoever she is, I think she was married to, or at least in a relationship with Vincent D'Onofrio at one point. That might be trivia I'm off on. If someone wants to check me on that, by all means. But anyway, okay, so we're still on bingo card C. The squares currently circled are a list, free space, argumentative non sequitur, collectivize his own demographic, benevolent condescension, and weightless example. Now, do I want to go over the card again for this talk? I'll do it once, and then we're going to move on because this was a nothing talk. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, no. Word salad, more or less. Yeah, I'll circle that one. Why not? Let's see. Mind reading assumes motives. Not really. It was just a bunch of gobbledygook. Marginalized, marginalization. Yeah, she brought up ageism and so on, so I'll circle that one. Why not? Patriarchy, no. Contradicts own point or argument. What was her argument? There are treatments for or in development of reducing aging consequences, and also if you treat your body right, you will live a better life. I guess she didn't contradict her own point or argument. She varied around from her subject matter. Feminism, no. Attempt to coin new buzzwords, buzz phrase, no. Systemic, institutional, I mean the system of dying, and not really. Anecdote that probably never happened. No, the zombie cells were a real thing, I guess. White supremacy, no. Childhood or family anecdote, no, she never talked about herself. Leaves out vital context, boy howdy, not talking about the details. Well, here, let me do this first, just so everybody has an idea of what it is that I'm talking about here for a second. Let me just do this. Okay, so there's this, and we want to do this and that. Okay, so just so everybody knows where we're at with the bingo card before I move on to our second feature. Let's see, moving on. Sales pitch for product or service. I'm going to say no, because she didn't give us anything specific to latch onto. She didn't mention a particular lab. She didn't talk about a particular scientist. She didn't give us anything. She gave us hypotheticals. So not really. I'm being a little strict here because I was waiting for something specific to be said. Privilege, not really. Self-vilification or wretchedness, no. Economic disparity, no. Plays victim, no. Microaggressions, unconscious bias. Well, she did talk about ageism again, so I'll circle that for unconscious bias and so on and so forth. So there you go. I'll take a minute here if anybody has any arguments they want to give, and then I'll move on to the next one. Advocatus, plays victim. She's a victim of aging and death in her own body. She didn't say it, but she intimated it strongly. It really wasn't a part. She didn't talk about herself. Yeah, not intimation. Yeah, not really. She said she was Gen Z. She's probably one of the last people that ever have to worry about aging or something. Scribelight, she said, claim your healthy longevity multiple times to attempt to coin a new buzzword buzz phrase. Yeah, you know what? I'll accept that. That's true. She did really try to drill that into us quite a bit, didn't she? So yeah, it's all right. That's fair enough. Lucatorix. Thank you. And Q continuum, weightless example, no muscle mass. She's fine. She was fine. Let's see. She assumed no one knew sleeping was good for you. That'd be more like benevolent condescension, I think. I don't know if that's mind reading or assumes motives. So, yeah. All right. So I think I'm going to leave it there as far as that one goes. So what we're going to do is I'm going to change the color of my circles to orange just to differentiate. And now we're going to move on to our surprise double feature. And it's also about health, so I can stay in the same subject matter. And this one's called How HBCUs Can Reduce Cancer Care Disparities. I don't know, but somehow HBCUs all by themselves will reduce cancer care disparities. Now, I'm assuming, I'm going to make a prediction here, that because specifically HBCUs will produce, what would you call it, doctors of color or something, that then people who have medical problems will pay more attention to their doctors because they look like them or something. I'm not sure, but that's my best guess. We'll see if I get to do a third psychic sting. So this one covers 11 minutes and 14 seconds. Let's go. Whoa, okay, this is TEDx Bowie, not David, but State University.
Raise your hand if you know someone who has cancer.
Well, very directly, my father.
Now raise your hand
if you're sure. That's a callback to an old advertisement.
and if you have lost someone to cancer.
Yes, I could raise my hand to that as well.
Despite great advances in our understanding of the causes of this disease and the development of treatments for it,
yes,
current data from the Centers for Disease Control shows that cancer is still the second cause of death in the United States.
The second cause of death. What's the first cause of death? Is it heart disease? I'm guessing it's heart disease, right?
Furthermore,
yeah,
according to the Surveillance, Epidemiology, and End Results program from the National Cancer Institute, a person has a 40% probability of developing cancer in their lifetime.
Well, great. Given my dad's situation, I guess that's that possibility is raised in my family.
What this means is that you or I have more or less a 1 in 2 chance of having cancer.
Great. Okay. So tell me how colleges focusing on skin color are going to solve for this problem.
What statistics also show is that cancer's incidence rates and death rates are influenced by your race and your ethnicity.
Really? Cancer is racist? Huh. Okay. How?
A 2023 report from the American Cancer Society shows that African American men have a 70% higher incidence rate for prostate cancer than white men do.
Why? What is the biological mechanism that explains that?
In African American women, despite having a slightly lower rate for breast cancers than white women do.
Wait a second. Slightly lower? Despite?
When they are afflicted with this form of the disease, their death rates are 40% higher than those of white women.
Why? Okay, so now here we go. Persuasive essay time, right? So here's our thesis statement, right? African Americans are struck low by cancer in higher rates and in worse ways than their white counterparts. Okay, that's our thesis statement. All right, so tell me why. Ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why. I never want to hear you say. Okay.
These differences are known as health disparities.
Health disparities. What do we know about disparities, just as a preamble? It does not inherently indicate an inequity. But thank you, Corey Suzuki. Where's my cancer reparations? Yeah, where's Corey Suzuki's brain cancer reparations? You guys don't know about Corey Suzuki's adventures in brain cancer. I did one of my earliest Familiar with the Matter interviews with Corey Suzuki, talking about. I guess it'd be fair to say not so much his direct experience, because it happened when he was very young, but more so his family and his father's experience with his brain cancer. So if you're curious about that, look up on my channel under the playlist for Familiar with the Matter, or just put into the little magnifying glass brain cancer, and you'll find the talk I did with Corey on that. And you can hear the whole story there. Thank you, Corey, very much. And so what does Corey get out of the deal? Or is it's too late, I guess, I suppose. He's already had his day.
In the next few moments, I would like to share with you how minority-serving institutions of higher education
Minority serving institutes of higher education. So racially segregated colleges,
such as historically black colleges and universities, or
you need to double up on that? Okay.
HBCUs.
Yes, HBCUs.
Can help reduce these disparities.
Okay, tell me how HBCUs can reduce cancer disparities.
Our students are uniquely positioned to engage with their communities, to raise their awareness and empower them so they become active participants in reducing their cancer burdens.
How? I have a feeling I'm going to be asking that question over and over and over again.
First, I would like to talk about cancer treatments.
By all means.
Cancer treatments are most effective when they are tailored to the patient.
Yes.
In other words, one size does not fit all when it comes to cancer care.
Oh, but outcomes are predictable based on race. Oh, okay.
And a striking example of this was published in 2022 in one of the flagship journals of the American Medical Association.
The American Medical Association?
Where they showed that even when access to care and treatment is equitable, African American men fighting prostate cancer have double the disease burden of white men.
Okay, what does that mean? And what is the mechanism that leads to that? They must have figured out what the differential was, right? Or is it just skin color? Cancer is racist.
Who are also fighting this disease.
Okay, yeah, more details, please. I've got some squares to circle otherwise.
So this personalized cancer treatment.
No. Okay, this is like that's the second or third time she's done this. You don't drop that kind of statement and then not go forward to explain it. A disparity does not inherently indicate an inequity. Why is it happening? What is the cause or causes? What are the factors that are leading up to this? If you don't know, say that you don't know. Don't leave the answer hanging out in the ether and assuming that everybody's going to fill in the blank with the God of the gaps theory of statistical analysis. Because that immediately undercuts your argument, whatever it is. So at some point, details, please.
Modalities, also known as precision oncology, are revolutionizing cancer care.
For everyone, because cancer doesn't care about your skin color, right?
And an essential component of developing these new treatments are clinical trials.
You don't say.
Today, in the United States, clinical trials are rigorously executed to ensure patient safety.
Really? I don't know. There's a recent worldwide event that led to a whole bunch of clinical trials of some stuff, and patient safety didn't really seem to be a consideration taken seriously. But I don't want to get too specific because YouTube. But yeah, you can infer.
And participation in them is entirely voluntary.
Yes.
A 2021 review published in another journal of the American Medical Association.
You go to the well every time for this one, huh? Okay, and
analyze diversity in the participants in clinical trials.
Oh, diversity. All right, finally on the board, circling diversity, equity, and or inclusion. Got that right there. All right, good. Tell me about diversity. And again, I'm still waiting to hear what is the biological mechanism that causes cancers to affect people of particular skin colors differently. Tell me, oh, tell me true.
And it demonstrated that for precision oncology trials for lung, breast, prostate, and colorectal cancers, 82% of the participants are non-Hispanic whites.
Oh my God. But didn't you just tell us earlier that there is no one-size-fits-all cancer treatment? Everybody's different. So cancer patients and people suffering from cancer aren't a monolith simply because they have cancer insofar as treatment or effect or whatever, right? But in clinical trials, 82% are non-Hispanic white. I'm getting mixed signals here. Oh, okay.
And only about 10% are Black.
Oh, so just about the percentage population relative to the country of those people in the age group that would probably have to start worrying about cancer for the most part. So it's kind of representative, huh? All right.
This lack of diversity in clinical trials.
No, everyone is different. You just told us 3 minutes ago there is no one-size-fits-all treatment for cancer. Every patient is unique, etc., and so forth. Skin color does not matter by your own declaration. But now it suddenly does. Okay, why? Tell me why.
Results in an incomplete picture of the new therapy's efficacy, side effects, and the best protocols for their administration.
Okay, so the clinical trials need to be racially discriminatory then. I mean, it's not employment, so I don't see how that would necessarily be a legal barrier for most clinics or labs or whatever. Right. So the solution to the problem is to select clinical trial participants on the basis of race. Is that it?
And it's especially disastrous for individuals of communities of color.
Individuals of communities of color. Why? You need to articulate how this is a problem medically. You need to tell us what is the purpose of arguing around skin color when it comes to cancer. How does skin color affect cancer outcomes? If you do not do that, this entire presentation fails.
Now, this lack of diversity in clinical trials is rooted in a lack of trust.
Lack of trust on whose part?
In biomedical research by communities of color.
Oh, are you going to bring up the Tuskegee experiments?
And this is grounded in the abuses these communities experience in recent history. An example of that is the Tuskegee syphilis experiment.
There we go, man. Okay, so Black people are not volunteering for clinical trials in medicine because of Tuskegee experiments and such. All right. How do you solve for that problem? You want to get HBCUs to produce doctors who look a certain way so that people who also look a certain way will trust their doctors, because obviously you can't trust a doctor who does not share your skin color. Are you, I'm just guessing here. I'm guessing as to where this is going. Do I get to use my psychic stinger a fourth time? Let's find out.
That went on for 40 years, ending in 1972. I believe
I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. Oh.
That HBCUs can help diversify clinical trials.
How? I mean, that is one question. The other question that's still outstanding is, so really, the only reason for disparities in outcomes of cancer patients based on race is fear of clinical trials. because cancer treatments don't help just human bodies. They respond specifically to racialized bodies. And since you don't have certain racialized bodies in clinical trials, the medicines don't know what to do when they encounter a different skin color. I don't know what other conclusion to come to than that. But outside of that, HBCUs are going to solve this problem. Okay.
For example,
yes,
as institutions,
yes,
we can enter into partnerships with biomedical research centers that are engaged in these clinical trials.
Sure. And what? So are you talking about like taking students from HBCUs where the racial demographics are more leaning in the direction you want them to go, and that's where more clinical volunteers come from?
So that our students can receive training in clinical research?
Sure.
And how clinical trials are designed and executed.
Is that going to... All right, so stepping back. So you're going to dispel the distrust amongst communities of color by educating them on the necessity and efficacy and history and utility and so on of clinical trials, so they'll feel more comfortable volunteering for clinical trials and or pass this information on to others within their obviously cloistered, isolated, monolith community, and then do away with the hesitancy to participate in medical trials. Is that it?
While at the same time, they go to their communities and educate them about how clinical trials are made.
Okay, so it's all a trust game. Cancer disparities exist because Black people don't trust medical science. Full stop. That is the only explanation she's given so far. And cancer treatments somehow can't address cancers in Black people because not enough Black people are participating in clinical trials. There is a disconnect here.
And why it is so important that minority people participate in them, so we can develop effective therapies.
How? Okay, like I said, there is a question here that she is not answering. If cancer therapies react differently to people on the basis of their skin color, if cancer therapies developed in clinical trials that don't have the demographic split that you desire are somehow producing therapies that are ineffective against certain racial demographics, you need to explain why that is. Why the human bodies between white people and Black people are somehow so genetically different that these therapies are ineffective in the one and entirely effective in the other or something. You have not explained that. What is the scientific, biological mechanism that creates this disparity? Okay, simply having a population disparity in clinical trials is one thing, but you're talking about therapies themselves being ineffective because of the lack of participation of certain racial demographics. Why? How? How does that work? What are you talking about?
Especially for communities shouldering an increased burden of cancer.
Shouldering an increased burden of cancer. Okay, you just told us that 40% of everyone are probably going to deal with cancer at some point. Everybody has the burden of cancer if they have cancer, regardless of what they look like. My father is dealing with the burden of cancer right now. It's not giving him a break. Our
students can also engage in activities raising awareness and about cancers that have an outsized impact on their communities.
So you want to turn the students of HBCUs into evangelists for cancer therapy and clinical trial participation. Sure. Why not? All things considered, it's effectively harmless and could be beneficial. Great. But I'm still lost as to what you think the outcome is going to be other than just more participation, which in and of itself could be worthwhile. But anyway.
They can discuss risk factors.
They could,
They can also discuss the importance of periodic, regular cancer screenings performed by healthcare providers.
Oh, yeah, guys, did you know that Black people have absolutely no concept of cancer or cancer screening? Just as a matter of course. It's just not there. None of the media, none of the studies, none of the press or otherwise about cancer. It just hasn't reached. It's like trying to get the internet to an isolated Amazonian tribe somewhere. You know, it just hasn't gotten there yet. You know, it's sort of like news about electricity or something. What are you talking about?
So that if this disease strikes, it can be diagnosed in its early stages when its treatment is much, much easier.
Right, because okay, circling benevolent condescension. I don't know how else to interpret what this lady is intimating here. It's sort of like, you know, when I hear things like, you know, Black people don't know how to get photo ID to vote or something. Like this information just has not reached them somehow. They're just incapable. Did you know that cancer's bad for you? Like what? Faustonia, thank you so much. With the roll you are on tonight, Scribe, can you please randomly select 5 numbers between 1 and 69 and one more number between 1 and 25? Oh, man. Oh, don't make me put okay. 5 numbers between 1 and 69. 22, 39, 69. So 22, 39, 7. Got to get lucky number 7 in there. 13 to, you know, balance it out. And 42, because that's the answer to everything. And then one more number between 1 and 25. 6. There you go. So 39, 22, 42, 13, 7, and 6. There you go. And all I ask is that if you win a bunch of money, give some to cancer charity. There you go. I think that's fair enough. Thank you, Faustonia. Appreciate it. Okay, let's try to wrap this nonsense up.
Bowie State students in the biology program.
Wait. Oh, Bowie State students. It took me a second there. Bowie State students in the biology program.
Who have taken a cancer biology course.
Which they had to choose to do because it's probably a prerequisite or an elective or something.
Have been engaged in some of these activities.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. So people who elect to be educated in cancer science.
They have created educational materials in the form of TikTok videos.
Oh man. Okay. Like I say, I'm not going to disparage getting the word out to people, especially young people, about the warning signs or keep in mind about cancer or causes thereof and so on. That's fine. But really, I go to a state university. I pay money. My parents pay money. I'm going into debt for college loans or whatever so I can take a class on cancer to then carry that information into a TikTok video. Oh, the time we live in.
Short plays or social media campaigns. And they bring through these instruments accurate information to persons who otherwise would not have access to this.
Yes, because anybody who has access to TikTok has no access to cancer information. And anybody who watches TikTok obviously is of a type of person that wouldn't have any idea about cancer. Oh, come on.
And all these activities that engage the community.
The community,
can take place in settings such as church gatherings.
Sporting events, concerts,
family reunions,
yeah,
or other social community events.
Oh, okay. I was trying to be psychic there again for a second, but I've been pretty good so far, but I keep trying. Thank you, John Miller. I cannot tell who's more condescending, her or the Gen's puke. Oh, Gen Z puke. Oh yeah, it's like they think they are talking to total morons. I mean, there are some instances where I have to remind myself, being as a snob as I am about some things, that sometimes there are subjects and topics and things that are not commonly known that I might be personally more well versed in, right? I think I've told this story several times. Back on Lords of the Night, we had Sinatra Says on one time, and I was reading a story from Harry Enton, Crystal Liz's personal Igor, who wrote an article about some Trump political stuff. And as I read it, it was so basic, boilerplate, politics 101 simpleton stuff that I was getting frustrated reading it because it sounded so stupid. It's like how the most obvious common sense things ever. And I'm thinking, is this what CNN has come to? Really incisive, insightful commentary. And Sinatra cuts in and he makes a decent point. He says, this article is for people who have absolutely no idea about politics. And, he had a point. Reading the news every night on Lords of the Night for years and years and years to that point, and, having some, just by osmosis, if nothing else, some idea of the ebb and flow of politics and situations. Yeah, I was a little jaded. But things like this, the same. It's like, no, cancer is not some mystery. Breast cancer, colon cancer, lung cancer, these things are not somehow out of the way. It's on every pack of cigarettes. It's on billboard after billboard. It's every time you see a pink ribbon and a run for cancer awareness and everything else. This is not some isolated knowledge. Detailed biological science knowledge about it, sure, that's more specialized. You go to school for that, or you do your own research or something. But she's making it sound like there's entire demographics of this country based simply on race who have had their heads stuck under rocks for the last 40 years of cancer awareness. And they just don't know. Oh, what do you mean smoking causes lung cancer? Come on.
And since the information is coming from people they know and they trust.
Oh, they know and they trust because they look like them. Right. So again, you're inherently racist when it comes to cancer information if someone's telling you about it and they don't look like you. I couldn't possibly trust somebody who doesn't match me melanin-wise on scientific information. I just can't do it, guys. I'm incapable. Or apparently Black people are incapable.
It is likely to be believed.
Oh, it's likely to be believed. Or, and just go with me here now, if there is, and I'm taking your word for it, if there is such a dire suspicion over the medical industry when it comes to people of color, if a person of color then shows up and starts evangelizing about the medical industry, is my suspicion about this person going to increase or decrease in the minds of people who are already trained to be paranoid? What do you think?
And be well accepted.
Right.
Now, the students that engage in this sort of activities also gain incredible, invaluable experiences.
Such as?
That increase their competitiveness as applicants to advanced degree programs.
Oh, right. And then they become the doctors, and then more people who look like them, or they run the trials and things, right?
Such as medical school, or PhD and master degree programs in biomedical sciences.
Wow. So people who pursue higher education for higher level jobs and careers and stuff can do those things when they go to college and put their minds to. Wow. That's crazy. Is that limited to skin color as well or something?
As they progress through their degrees and they enter their workforce, they are diversifying it.
They are diversifying.
So there is more physicians and scientists that look like you and me.
I waited for it. I knew it was coming. It's all about aesthetics. By the way, everybody, it's okay that you're all racist. I do a sort of like little Numa type little dance in my chair whenever I play that. I like put my arms up and just kind of like do a little like chicken wings, little wiggle. Yeah, do back and forth. Do. Anyway, yeah. So just so you know, everybody, the doctors will look like you and me, so you can trust them. But obviously, it's okay if you don't trust doctors right now who don't look like you. Are you even listening to yourself? Do you even understand the implications of what you're saying here? Obviously not. Actually, you know what? Here's the thing. All she's doing is underscoring the paranoia. She's just endorsing people's suspicions. It's like, well, if you saw a white doctor, I can understand why you might be hesitant. It's just like...
To conclude,
there
are pervasive health disparities in cancer.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, if you split everything up on the basis of race and say, hey, look, that number's bigger than that number, even though over there that number's lower than that number, but it's still pretty bad. Disparities. You want to talk about causes? You want to talk about factors?
However, minority-serving institutions of higher education,
or HBCUs,
such as HBCUs, can narrow those disparities.
How? You're just talking about disparities on the basis of racial demographics. You have said nothing about increased advantageous outcomes for cancer treatments. You haven't even explained how having black people in clinical trials is going to increase the quality of the therapies. What? Good. Okay, you know what? No, this is too, sounds too benevolent and too, just no.
What? What is that? What the fuck is that?
Yeah, no, it's just, no, you had too many chances, too many bites at the proverbial apple, and it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Simply put, our students can engage their communities.
Because their communities are racist.
To raise awareness. And most importantly, to help them transcend the wrongs of the past.
Transcend the wrongs of the past.
By building bridges of trust.
Bridges of
with
trust.
The physicians and the scientists that are working on new treatments.
No, you don't want to increase bridges of trust. No, you're not elevating people's merit on the basis of their scientific knowledge. You're saying that certain communities will not trust doctors that don't look like them. You should be raising awareness about cancer research and people's work on that. If you actually wanted to end some of these disparities, but no, you want to increase division and suspicion.
So that together.
Together? Ooh, what together? What does that mean?
We can develop therapies.
What therapies and what? I'm going to just be repeating myself. How do you develop therapies specifically for people of a racial demographic? What?
That will save the lives of all people, regardless of their race or ethnicity.
Am I taking crazy pills in this medically themed TEDx event? Why are the therapies ineffective against people of certain races?
My parting thoughts to you are simple.
Oh, simple. Okay, well, put simply earlier, now put simple. Okay, simple, yeah.
Anyone can get cancer.
You're correct. Anyone can get cancer.
But you do not have to be a physician or have a PhD in biomedical sciences in order to join the fight against this disease.
You're right. You can donate funds to cancer research organizations such as the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, which I have on several occasions and promote here. You can be aware of your health choices that might contribute to such, or family histories, and be on the lookout and get regular testing for things that can be tested for. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah. And obviously all of that information is just completely absent from certain communities based on their skin color. Okay.
Become informed.
Yes.
Become active. Be aware of your risk factors. Go get screened.
Yes.
And if offered the opportunity to participate in a clinical trial, please consider it.
I don't know that I want to be a guinea pig.
Because hopefully, by doing all of this, in the near future, when someone asks you in an audience to raise your hand if you have lost someone to cancer, there will be far fewer hands in the air. Thank you.
No applause? Really? Really? No. Was the auditorium empty or something? Okay. Well, there you go. Okay. So just she was not wrong about awareness can increase survivability and, lower frequency and so on. Conceivably, possibly. You get tested early for certain types of cancers, you could conceivably avoid the worst of it. It's true. But that was not the meat and potatoes of this talk. So anyway, I'm going to go over this one more time by myself, then I'll ask for you guys to give your input, and then we will wrap up. All right, mind reading assumes motives. Yeah, if you have a particular melanin count, you just have absolutely no idea how cancer works and that it's a thing. I guess. That does not count as a bingo, mind you. I have to have a bingo. It's got to be of the right... Since we're talking about shades of color here, let's see. Word salad. Oh, by all means, yes. Sorry, I skipped over that one. I was in my own mind. Word salad. Yeah, she was all over the place with that stuff. A list. Did she give us a list? I'm trying to think now. She gave us a list of cancers. Yeah, you know what? I'll accept that. That was a list of cancers. Marginalization. Yeah, obviously, because an entire set of demographics are not receiving the appropriate therapies, whatever that means, based on their race, I guess. So.
Oh, won't somebody please?
Bingo. B-I-N-G-O.
Okay.
Right?
All right, our first bingo. Patriarchy. No. Contradicts own point or argument. Well, yeah, she said every cancer treatment is different. There is no one size fits all. But then she starts complaining about what people look like in cancer trials. I just found that ridiculous. Feminism, no. Attempt to coin new buzzword or buzz phrase. No, I don't think she used anything new there. Systemic or institutional? Yes. Well, dealing with HBCUs and so on in college campuses and that kind of thing. I think that makes some sense. Anecdote that probably never happened. I didn't hear any anecdotes really or anything that was that, it's too good to be true or nothing. White supremacy. Yes. Both by, historical anecdote and implication otherwise. Yes. Free space. Well, of course, it's free because, well, it's free. And also, Dogcat Fox is Dogcat Fox. Circling that one. Childhood or family anecdote. She never talked about herself. So, no. Sales pitch for product or service. Definitely a sales pitch for Bowie State University. Our students, if they take this class, so on and so forth, they get the education they need to do this, that, and the other.
Bingo. What? Of course!
Privilege. There was definitely an implication of privilege when it came to cancer outcomes and therapies tailored for this, that, and the other, especially based on race. So circling it. Collectivizes own demographic. Yes, at the end when she said doctors that look like you and me, etc. So I think that that's fair enough. 1 second here. Let me circle that one. Boy, oh boy, we're getting a lot out of this one. I tell you what. Okay, got to keep my eye here because all the varying colors are making me confused as to where my bingos are. Self-vilification or wretchedness. Again, she never really talked about herself at all. Economic disparity. Did she ever bring up economic? She brought up like racial disparity. Did she bring up economic disparity? I'm not sure she did. Plays victim. Well, here's the thing. Because she collectivized herself and then by extension, maybe. I might need a second on that one. Weightless example. Oh boy. Yeah, the whole therapies, effective therapies. But she never ever explained what one had to do with the other, or how that was going to somehow improve things. I mean, don't get me wrong, having a larger sample of subjects for testing and things is great, but what is the mechanism dealing with skin color? And lastly, microaggressions or unconscious bias. Well, definitely the unconscious or otherwise bias of being suspicious of medical treatment, and especially on the basis of race. And that also, if you can believe it.
Bingo. What? Bingo! Yeah! Of course! Of course!
All right. I think that's it. Now it's open the floor to you guys. If you have arguments for squares to be circled, put them in the chat now and tag me in it if you could. And then we'll wrap things up. Advocast Diablo, also Scribe, totally unrelated, but did you see the Fearless Fund decision come down? Oh yeah, I did. I'm thinking about doing that for Sunday stream because that's a good update. I wanted to wait till some more detailed articles came out because when it was first announced, I just saw a couple of stub articles and things. I wanted to get some more information. So yeah, might do a Fearless Fund update. Might do a couple of things Sunday. I don't know if that'll fill up a whole Sunday stream, but I might cover a couple of things. Nothing to see here. Economic disparity. By implication, Black women have lower breast cancer rates, but worse outcomes, implying they can't afford the treatment. She didn't go there though. By implication, she didn't bring up class so much. There might be something in here that fits, but I don't. That's a little bit of a stretch. That example's a bit. I get where you're going, but it just doesn't quite reach it there. Squizzles McM Cornish just got here. What bullshit have I missed? Well, you missed extending your lifespan with AI without explaining how specifically, and then also exercise is good for you. And then cancer is racist and being racist against doctors is okay and understandable. That's my best sort of summary. John Miller, probably a stretch, but economic disparity, the implication that they are poorly informed and TikTok becoming the informer motivator. I get where you're going, but that's more of like a cultural generational thing. I can't say it's economic. Another bite at the apple. Scarlett, economic disparity. I think the burden of cancer she kept referring to was the ability to afford treatment and that Black people had a harder time of it. Yeah, but she talked about like mortality rates and such. I get where you're coming from, but I am bound by what's in the presentation. And she didn't even hint at class. Not really, and at least not directly enough. And she was so abstract. I don't think she did. Yeah, get different. Yeah, touched lightly on cost difference. Did she talk about cost differences? Wait, did she bring up cost? Maybe I missed it. Did she actually bring up cost differences for treatment? Did she talk about price? I don't remember talking about price. I heard her talk about effective treatments. Did she talk about affordable treatments? I don't remember. I honestly don't. So if she did, okay. Yeah, she a larger burden of cancer because of prostate cancer. Well, yeah, because I think she's talking about mortality rate, right? I know I'm being a stickler here, but I gotta stick to it. No, I didn't mean to double up on that, but you know what I'm talking about. Because it's not quite a bingo square, but you know, I still have to be a little. She talked about the trials that are generally free, because they're voluntary. Now the trials are free. No, the burden is the cost and the ability. I need for her to have said something about cost or affordability or something, because if she doesn't say something about class or price or something like that, I can't make that jump. She could have been talking about mortality rates. She could have been talking about people not seeking treatment, as was implied with the whole Tuskegee experiment thing. I need something very specific. I'm sorry. I know I'm being an absolute stickler about this, but if she at some point she talked about, developing more affordable treatments, or these communities can't afford these treatments, or the cost is too high, something, but she didn't, as far as I know. And also, as a note, if something is remembered or there's an argument otherwise after the show, you can always leave it in the comments or talk about it on the Discord server, and I will entertain it. But I need something far more grounded. I'm sorry. I know I frustrate you guys sometimes, and I know maybe I'm just too much of a nitpicker, but that's just how my brain works. Let's see, what else do we have here? She specified burden separately from. I know, but it wasn't specific enough. John Miller. Let's see. Hi, I'm still streaming. Sorry, I got a call. I'll call you. I'll call you soon. I got a call on Discord just then. I was like, I know, I'm still streaming. I mean, the Tuskegee thing, it was heavily implying blacks not pushing for getting tested because they were betrayed. So that's societal and cultural. That's more of a cultural thing. She leaned on the cultural suspicion about medical services amongst minority communities. She didn't, as far as I know, she never talked about economic issues. She talked about cultural suspicion and why more people need to be doctors who look like her, right? This is a trust issue. This is a cultural issue. This is a societal issue. If she had an economic argument, I don't remember her making it. So that's just me. Let's see. Assassin Gray, I will not pitch anything anymore. Last time was like pulling teeth with tweezers. Hey, this is how it works, dude. You've been here a long time. I get really picky with some of this stuff. Some things you convince me on the first drop, and sometimes it just and I know. I can be a frustrating taskmaster sometimes, but that's the sanctity of the card and the argumentation. Anyway, I'm going to call it here because I already got a call. And strangely enough, within the time of a usual TEDx, we squeezed in two around the same theme. I know, it's bizarre, just bizarre. And I had psychic moments all over the place. And if Fostonia wins the Powerball or whatever it was, well, that'd just be amazing, wouldn't it? So there you go. Yes, so before I go, wake me up before you go. Did you know I have a Discord server? I have a Discord server. Link is in the chat right now. Just click on that. You'll find yourself on the landing channel called Say Hello. And in addition to saying hello, you just have to say the secret word. The secret word will tell me that you actually watched the stream, are not a bot, are not driven by AI, as far as I know, and have thus earned the right, the entitlement, the privilege to join the Discord server. And today's secret word is disparity. Just say hello, disparity, and I'll know that you watched the show. Also, Miranda Stone's in the chat. You know, I will confess this, I attempted to create a Miranda Stone Queen stinger within the last couple of days. I took a picture, or I should say a painting, of Elizabeth I. And I attempted, in my low-rent Photoshop way, to take her profile picture from Twitter and make it work. And I couldn't do it. My talents are not that great. It didn't look up to my standards. So unless I find more clear or usable photos of Miranda Stone, that's entirely up to her, and she won't do it, and I understand why. It just have to be a dream that I have for someday. Other than that, sorry for putting you on the spot, Miranda, but I wanted to be honest. Full disclosure, I did make the attempt. So there you go. Otherwise, everybody, look out for the Sunday stream on Sunday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, where I'll talk about a thing. It'll probably be, at least in part, talking about the current status of the Fearless Fund on a legal level, and me being honestly surprised. We'll talk about that on Sunday, probably. Otherwise, you can also find me when I'm able to make it, and if they're talking about a subject that I have some idea of what to contribute to, on Tuesdays on the Midnight's Edge After Dark stream, talking about movies and pop culture and other such things. Beyond that, any other shout-outs I want to give? Oh, The Misery Machine. If you like true crime and you have a strong stomach, because some of the stuff they cover is pretty tough, look up The Misery Machine on YouTube. I'm actually hoping to get Drewby and Yurgi on to a Living on Borrowed Crime stream in the near future. I'm trying to restart Living on Borrowed Crime. My focus on that kind of got waylaid by family stuff the last couple of months and getting distracted with other things, but I'm trying to get re-energized and trying to make that more of a thing in the near future. I'm working on it. I will let you guys know as things develop. Follow me on X or Twitter at scribe_light for those notifications when they come up, and also go onto the Discord server. But with that, everybody, thank you so much for joining me for this special surprise double feature of TED Excellence. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things. Even though everyone here is so well behaved, you have very, very little to do. Everybody who donated, either to myself or to the fundraisers at the top of the chat box, thank you guys so very much for your generosity. Very much appreciate it. And with that, everyone, hope you enjoyed the show. Leave a like on the way out if you would. Supposedly it helps out things. Also share this stuff around on social media if you like this kind of thing as well as for any other content creator you appreciate. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Hope your Friday goes smoothly. Hope you have a good weekend. Hope you are all safe and well. If you are not well, please get well soon, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.